So here we are again. Second video of the day. It's basically about the small rig cage that I got for the 6500 Sony, and I just want to show a little bit and how I hooked it up because people are asking about it. So let me first show you the old version or one of the older versions. In my opinion, small rig now made 4 different ones. This is, I think, the original. It's now using, because we are using the A6300 to make the recording, I'm now using the A6000 on this cage, and yeah, it works quite well, but it had a tendency to start moving. You still had to hook, you still had to use your normal tripod connector, and they improved upon the design, and in later versions, mostly they had to do a redesign for the battery, and they had to do a redesign for some of the buttons over here. And while they were doing it, they also made some interesting changes. So let's compare that one with the one for the A6500. And you can see I already put some extra attachment points here. So a few of the changes that they made, and let me just, because there's more reviews online, but I will show you, attach a few parts and show you what I really like about it. I think the fit is a lot better. So we were talking, they are quite open to talk to people in the different forums. So one thing that they did redesign, or at least extended, is that the way that it now attaches to the body is even more, so it does more heat dissipation. They also made a hole here so that you can put an arm there or something for follow focus, which is quite nice. But for me, the biggest and the most obvious smart change is actually that they integrated a tripod arca plate here, which I think, I'm not sure who came up with it. If it's one of the posters, thank you. If it's somebody at the small rig, take an extra beer, because the nice thing about it, if you take a small tripod, so here we have one, and you can now attach it with like this, which I think is, hold on, let me see, it's now open. So you can attach it like this without any extra sort of tripod feet that you have to attach. I think it's simple. I'm not sure why they didn't think about it before, but I think it's a brilliant extension. So you don't have to have an extra part for it, and again, why wouldn't you? So I'm using it here with a small tripod, but what you can also do is use a small monopod, which I will be reviewing later, because I like small stuff so that I can take it with me in my traveling bag. And you can see that quite easily, even without a ball head, I can attach it like this. And now we have quite a stable solution if you hold it like this. And in fact, if you remember, the A6500 has a image stabilization, so it's we are getting there. I'm not saying it's perfect, but we are getting there. So there are some other changes. The biggest one that they needed to do is cut this one bigger area so that you can still test get to the C1 and the C2 button. They made an extra entry here so that you can attach handles here. Again, there are more reviews. They made some extra holes left and right, some extra attachment methods over here, and they changed the battery department, because one of the things that you could not get around, if you used this cage, you were not able to open up the battery anymore, so it was somewhat locking. Again, a very nice cage. In my opinion, the fit and finish and the precision is a lot better than the previous ones, so that is much more snugly fit in there. One nice thing is what happened on the older ones is that all these holes were going through and through. So what might happen, that if you would screw something in, it would actually start touching the camera, and if you put it in, it might sort of touch over here and you would scratch up your camera. Most of these holes, or at least the holes that are in question, they basically didn't make them fully go all the way, so you can't have that problem anymore. So there's a built-in cold shoe over here. You still can use this one. yeah, they also streamlined it a little bit, and they prepared, and this one wasn't, as you can see. They made extra holes already here because they are going to release a grip, so that there will be grips that you can integrate, and it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. Even without the grip, it feels more comfortable simply because the A6500 extends a little bit more, and also they retuned the whole setup here so that it fits a little bit better in the hand, even if you use it like this. But very happy with it, seems to be working fine. But one of the reasons I was making this video and a follow-up video is they asked me, smallrig contacted me and they asked me if we had more ideas what we could do. And I have an idea about the battery, which I will do in a separate video. But since I was making the setup anyway, I sort of made this part first, and then I will make a second part, which I think is tricky because it's about batteries, and I've been fiddling around with different battery solutions for a while now, and I still didn't come up with a perfect solution, but I might have an idea. And I told them, and they said, well, that would be fine, we will look at it. If I could explain it in the video, and I will show that both to the battery maker and to smallrig, and maybe we can come up with a solution which I think is might be even nicer. So let's first hook up the three things that you saw on the Facebook picture. So the first one was the battery. I showed it in the video before. A battery which allows you to hook up the D-adapter connector to the bottom, and an extra one for the monitor, which you'll see why that makes sense. What I did so far, I hooked it up on the side. So as you can see, what I can do, I can basically hook it up in different locations, but I can just slide it in like this, lock it down if I need the feel to it. The nice thing about these cold shoe connectors from smallrig is that they have a little button here so that you can't really mess up too much. The second thing I would add is let me first show this one. There's another small change that I made, which has nothing to do with smallrig, but I came up with a small change myself. Normally I was using this connector piece to hook up the LCD. It was not the original one, but I prefer this. But one side has this normal screw part, but the other side actually had a cold shoe connector, and you could shift it in. That still works, and is not a bad solution. But I actually came up with the idea to take two of them apart, because they're cheap anyway, and to make one with only these screw parts. So you can see that there are screws on both sides. The nice thing about it is it's now much quicker to attach to any part of the camera. So let me hook up the LCD, which is the icon, a really small LCD screen. So let me hook it up to this part, so you can now see that it's hooked up. And I prefer this because it really is much more stable, and it's very light. This is a very light sort of thingy. But now that this is a screw, I can basically quite quickly screw it anywhere I want. So if I want it over here, I can just screw it in like this, and I'm done. I can also, of course, do it in a different location on the side, flip it over, because both of them you can rotate. But you can see I can put it quickly over here if I want to go do it more flat. Of course, open it up and make it more flat. But let's, for the fun of it, now attach it over here. So I think that's quite a weird but a simple, let's say, improvement of my small setup. The third thing, so we have a battery, we have the LCD, this has a small cable, I'm not putting in the cables, small cable coming from here to the D-tap, small cable coming from here to the monitor. The third part that I most of the time use, normally I would use this, but I want to show it when I'm making this recording, is my Rode video mic. I'm not sure where I want to put it. I could put it like this, I could put it like this, but for now let's, I haven't figured out what is the best position for this yet, but let's say for now I will just put it on this cold shoe. And here we go, we have basically the three parts that we need. The camera, power, LCD and audio. And just to show how quickly you can then attach it to a tripod again, let's take this one. Up, just clamp it in, and I think only the Arca plate alone already makes it I think quite an interesting improvement. So let me move it a bit more into the picture so that you can see it. But you can see that it's now sort of fully onto the tripod plate. And you can still combine it with the monopod, which I will be showing later, and hold it up quite clearly. Maybe a little bit below you, your eye view, and then of course you can use the top LCD much easier than the bottom one. So this is about the smallrig 65 for the 6500. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a improvement in several areas, and I would say a very nice new version of this case, and it's still quite cheap. So yeah, I think they did a fine job, and I hope that they release some of the new parts. There's much more smaller changes that they made. So please check out some of the other reviews. That was not the goal of my video. But check them out. I think it's a good, stable and cheap solution. And I guess there's a reason why they are so popular on the Facebook groups. So thank you. And in the next video, I will talk a little bit about the tripod or the monopod, sorry. And make a special video for basically smallrig people and the battery people to see if my idea that I want them to look at makes sense. I will also share that to the Facebook group, so if you're interested, please watch it, because I think it's interesting for them to know and for us to know if the solution that I will suggest actually makes sense for them to start thinking about producing, because it's I see a lot of people hacking around with batteries, right? Either this solution or a built-in battery or a battery grip or whatever. And I think people who have these small rigs tend to try to find a way to do and to solve this problem. And I don't think anyone has really hit on the perfect solution yet. And I think part of the problem is that you need two different specialities, right? You can try to integrate it in a grip, but I found that most people with the A6500 or the A6000, they don't want to have a grip, and it only extends to two batteries, so it's kind of, I would almost say, useless, and you can only feed one device. So I'm wondering if there's not a better way of doing it, which would help us along quite a lot. So but that's for one of the next videos. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.